All right, you guys, Gary B. Jr. here. I'm your media consultant, and we are talking about free show and game shows. Two different shows. Let's talk about it. So, recently on Free Show Friday, someone asked me a question about how to create a unique type of game show um, quiz, I guess you can call it. I made a video about this a while back, about a week ago, related to a quick version. I say quick, but a version you can use. If you want to make a simple game show, go back and look at that video. You can see it up there somewhere, and we'll make it work. But if you want to see some other options, which were requested where the actual questions go away, right? So there's four questions you start with, and then they just start to narrow down and disappear. And the last question, the one remaining, is the correct answer. That's one question that came up. However, I also came up with another way to do this, and it was involving just putting a mark on the wrong answers, right? So they all still are visible, but there's an X over the ones that are wrong, and it narrows down to where the last answer standing is correct without any X's over it. Okay, I actually like that one better, so I'm going to show you what I did, and then if you want to see the behind the scenes, I know this video looks intimidating. I'm looking at it now. This is an hour and 27 minutes worth of stuff um, that I'm editing right now. And I was like, this is getting crazy. This is way too long for anybody to want to watch unless you're a free show nerd, advanced user. And if you are, feel free to check it out. Give me some feedback. I want to know how to make this better. I do believe there's a lot of potential with free show to use this functionality with it, but I need your help. So if you're in the free show community and you are comfortable using the program, please let me know some other ways to approach this. Maybe make a video about it, maybe even post it on GitHub or something like that to let me know your thoughts. But I'd love to hear about what you think would be the best way to approach this. These are my thoughts at first glance, and you can see how long it took me. It took me over an hour to figure this out the way that I did, but let me give you guys a short and sweet of it, all right? So basically, here's what we've got. We will have, let me share my screen. I'll make it look like this for you guys, all right? And so this is what people will see, and not the big white screen. Let me fix that. Hold on. All right, so they'll see something like this, all right? And what I did is I made a first slide that says, are you ready to get started? You can make it say whatever, maybe the name of your ministry, your church, the youth group, whatever it is that you're using this for. Maybe it's a couples event. I don't know, whatever it may be. And then when I arrow to the right one time, let me go into it real quick. I'm in the show. I arrow to the right. It pops up and it says, who ran faster than a chariot? The timer starts. It's got a bar at the bottom. I love the timer bar. And then as it goes through and it gets to 10 seconds, what you're going to notice is it eliminates a wrong answer. And then 3 seconds later, it eliminates another wrong answer. And then another wrong answer at the 2-second mark. All right. And Elijah is the last man standing. He's the one that ran faster than a chariot. I've got it set up with the action to where it'll sit there, it'll reset, and you can have a discussion about Elijah, right? So you might want to insert a slide or something like that. And we talked about that in the past video where you want to put the scripture or something like that to show when he did that. Okay. That's definitely an option. I would say make it a teachable moment where people have to turn in their Bibles to see it, but that's just a thought. All right. Then you go to the next question and it automatically updates, right? And it goes through the same thing. In this case, timer goes down and it puts an X over all the wrong answers. While it's going to that first 10 seconds, you're actually reading those options out loud. So the next question, I'll show you what it would be like in depth. I really like the feel of this one because it allows people to still see all the answers, even the wrong ones. It's to kind of get their thought process together. It gives room for you as the host, the MC, the facilitator to really hear their thoughts and maybe have people raise their hand if they think it's that person or that person, and it'll exit out and that group is out, right? So they got to sit down or something like that. Okay. So it would be like this. Who was a judge? Was it Peter, James, Samson, or Cain? Who do you think was a judge? And the clock is ticking. Who was a judge? And now we know it was not James. Everybody who thought it was James, sit down. It was not Cain. If you thought it was Cain, take a seat. And last one standing, if you thought it was Samson, you were correct. All right. So that is a way you can do this. You can have some little background music to it and all that kind of stuff. But let's jump into how I got here in a nutshell. Okay. So in a nutshell, basically what we've got going on is we've got a variable set, okay, or a text set. All right. And I've got it under my variables under Gameshow, and I've got it here. There are 4 options. So I'm gonna go right click on this and edit it so you can see it. And I made it to where there was an A, B, C, and D option, just like I did in the last video. So that's nothing new. And then I've got the first question though is actually the title slide. And so this would be where you would put in your title of your ministry or whatever you want, the game night or whatever you call it. I just said, are you ready to get started? Okay. Then down here are the actual questions with the answer options. Okay. So those are all there. I can add another set and add another set of answers. All right. Now each of them have a different answer. So this one, the answer is A, and I think it ended up being ABC, which is hilarious. Don't do that in real life. Right now in the beta 3 of 149, you can't move these around. So I can't change the order of this any type of way. So I left it just like it was. That just happened over the course. If you watch the behind the scenes, you'll see how it ended up happening. All right. So I close that. Now, the question is how did the timer get started in and start back over, and how did we put the X's on there and all that kind of stuff? Well, you got to find some images, some X images. I found mine's on Canva, and then I just went into the show. Actually, I made an overlay. And so if I go over here to my overlays, you'll see I got to answer A, B, C, and D. All right. So all those, you notice here, the open X is A, the open X is B, the open X is C, and the open X here is D. Those are all of my default overlays. That's what they're doing. They're literally just overlays that show up over the top. Okay. Now in each overlay, there is a condition. All right. Let me go to edit that so you can see it. There's a condition that says, hey, with that 20-second timer that's showing up, it says, hey, when this one gets to 10 seconds, make it show up. When the timer gets to 7 seconds, make this one show up. When it gets to 2 seconds, make this one show up. And I just kind of randomized them as best I could, but they're positioned to where they fit. All right. That was the goal. All right. So now if I go back to the show, I also made an action. So if I go back to functions, I had to make an action. So I made a game show category. And I just made it game show A, B, C, and D to keep it simple. And so this action is a multi-faceted action. It has 6 different steps to it. All right. So the first step is it needs to clear the overlays. And the overlays are those old X's. It needs to clear those out. Okay. Then it needs to change the variable, which is that text set, to show the next question. So it needs to go to the next question, and then it needs to wait. And in this case, I've got it waiting 2 seconds. All right. So it waits 2 seconds. And then it starts the timer. All right. So that 2 seconds gives you room to ask the question. You can make it more if you wanted to. And then it starts the 20-second game show timer. And then I start the overlay. And this is where the things change when you got the action A, B, C, and D. So I've got it set to where this is going to show the overlay for answer A. And then the one for B is going to have a B here, C, so forth and so on. And then this last action, okay? This one is wait 22 seconds and reset the countdown. Now, remember I showed you when we played the first question, after a couple seconds, it just reset and just took all the X's away. That's what this does. And what that does is it gives you room to get started for the next one. Pretty simple and easy without it showing the answer. Because it carries over and it'll show the answer. You'll see that in behind the scenes. And I fixed it with a waiting for 22 seconds. You can make this wait for 25 seconds or 30 seconds, whatever you want, in terms of if you want some feedback time or some conversation time, or, like I said, if it's an interactive activity where people are standing up and sitting down, you can keep that answer up there and have a quick discussion or activity with it or something along those lines. But that's the way that we got to this point in a nutshell. We made a variable that was a text set. We made some overlays to put the X's over the wrong answer. Then we made an action and pulled all those together to make it to where it'll automatically sync up with the timer. The timer will automatically reset, and the actual overlays will clear out as well when it's all said and done. All right. With that being said, if you want to learn more about how I did this and you want to hear my mindset behind it and my thought process and the bumps in the road that I hit, keep watching. Definitely don't have to, but if you want to, feel free. What's going on, everybody? Gary B. Jr. here, and today we're going to be working on ideas and ways. We're going to play around. We're in the free show lab, so we're going to just kind of walk through, talk through, think about how to make a game show, do some cool stuff with the 1.4.9 beta 3 in free show. This is important because we try to do some stuff with this in the beta 2, and in response to that, the development team actually made some changes to where they added the text set variable into the conditions menu as well. And I haven't looked at it. I'm gonna be looking at this for the first time with you guys today. So let's look at this together to get an idea of what we can do now with game shows. So the first thing I'm going to do is let's do a new show. Let me go into, I'm gonna go back, and I'm just going to do a whole new project, and we're going to call this one Game Show Lab. All right, and now I go to my shows, and let's do a new show. We're going to call this, let's call this Game Show Beta 3. All right, now it's defaulting to Free Show Friday. We're going to change the category. Let me see, do I have a game show one? I do not, but check that out. You can add a new category. So I'm going to put in game shows. Boom. And we'll do it as an empty. We'll check that off. All right. So that's there. And then we'll do an empty show. And now I'm going to do a new slide. Go back to my show with that blank slide. And what I've done is I've made a template. And so if I go to my templates, I do have a game show template set up here. Let me see where it is. Here we go. Game shows at the very top. And so I started making this one the other day. Let's see. We'll come back to that. So let's go to, let's select that. All right. And if I go to edit, all of that stuff from the template is there. Now it's missing some key text here. These were supposed to be like a B, C, and a D, but they're not showing up. Let me see if they show up on the template. Yeah, so they're showing up here on the template. It didn't carry over for some reason, and I can't explain why. I'm not going to act like I know, but that's okay. We'll work with it. So I'll go back to, let's look at the variables to see if that's a reason why it's doing that. And so this is the game show. This is the free show Friday. That's the one that we did. So I right click on that and let's look at, well, no, that's fine. I don't have to change any of that, but let's look at it though. Just get an idea of what we got. So we got these options here, and I called them first removed, second removed. We were trying to figure something out, and it didn't make sense for me, and I don't know that it makes sense for anybody else, but this was a recommendation, and I don't really know how to make that recommendation work, but we do need to figure this out in a way that makes sense. And so there's got to be a way to where the request was to make this game show up the answers, the options for the answer, and then randomly remove different ones. All right. So randomly remove the wrong answers on a timer counting down, and it made them different each time. Like it just pulled out the different ones each time. Now, the way I did this was each time the correct answer was going to be the last one. You see what I'm saying? So that's not good. We don't want that. And that could be a problem. All right. And so if we go back out, I wonder if that's the problem with, let's see, that's Free Show Friday. Yeah. So the Bible quiz, it's got a, yeah, it's got an option D, B, A, or whatever. So that's what I originally had. And then my game show questions, if I right click on that one, this is one I made maybe a week prior. This is what it looks like. Okay. So it's got the A, B, and the C and the D along with the question there. All right. And so I might use this template just because it's already ready. So let's see here. Let me go to templates and let's go to this one instead. And it's still missing those letters for some reason. So if I right click on this and select edit, there's that. The letter is there. since it's a template, it won't carry that over. It's just a placeholder. So that could be a challenge. That makes sense. So what I need to do is fill that in with a variable. And let's do functions. And we got variables here. And I've got Gameshow. And so those are there. And this is the answer, but I'm going to make another one that's just called the just a text. It could be a text set as well. That would be interesting. Um, so let's call this answer options, and the name is first question or first option. And if you hear it raining, it's just storming over here really good. So first option, we'll call this one A. Second option, we'll call it B. And third option, we'll call it C. Oh, I think I got an idea. So the fourth option, call it D. So I'll put that there. Now, interesting. So these can change. If I got this variable here, this basically these options, I could have made one of them just be called the answer. Let's see. We'll say new variable, we'll call it correct answer. All right. So that's there. So I got these answer options. That's great. But the issue is, how do I get those to show up here? So right now, this particular quiz, if you were to select it, it does that and it shows up. And we can ignore this. Let me get rid of the live streaming look. We don't need that one. So I can right click and go to edit and just disable that. And so we got the correct answer lit up right there. And that kind of floats around. And I actually have it here as the answer being A, B, C, or D on a manual option. That was the way that I designed this quiz. So we got to think about how will we design it to where what we need to happen is, I'm just going to write this down. I got my handy notebook here. So we needed to be able to, okay, so we need to show up all at once. And then we needed to disappear individually. All right. Over time. And that one is easy because that one has to do with the actual, with the correct answer. So I don't need a marker for the correct answer. Okay, so let's get rid of this. Let me edit that. So I don't need this box here. Well, no, I do need that text box. I don't need this answer box here. Okay. Get rid of that. Boom. Okay. So this is set for FreeShow Friday Bible quiz. Answer A, answer A, D. Okay. Interesting. Interesting. All right. Now let's go to show. If I go back to my templates, this is supposed to say game show, but it carried over that text there. So if I select this, no, if I select it's going to put that in there. Let's see if I select this one, will it change? Okay. All right. So we got the, now it went back to Free Show Friday Bible quiz. Let's see. Yep, they all are doing that now. Interesting. And I'm just looking up here. They say Free Show Friday Bible quiz, but I took that out. So it looks like I'm going to have to start over. All right. So let's just start here. And let's edit. And we'll get rid of the text in this. All right. And so basically these are going to, the last one that's correct is going to remain. All right. And this, we can get rid of that too. Okay. And so when you show up, they all need to show up all at once. That's not too hard to pop that up. Disappearing individually over time, that could be a challenge. But with the new conditions, it shouldn't be too hard either. The next part though is for them to randomly be correct. Right. So option A needs to be correct sometime. Option B needs to be correct sometime. Option C needs to be correct sometime. And option D needs to be correct sometime. That's going to be the biggest challenge is how do I make it disappear in the right sequence for that to work? And my first thought was to do that, I just don't need the variable set. But what we did was we ran the variable set or the condition, sorry, I don't need the variable set, but he tied some, the developer tied some conditions to the variable sets. So now we can actually use them. It's just a matter of how. All right. So if we can get the variable set to have conditions, the question is, can we randomize it, right? Like to make it be the proper one to go away last. And then how do I save that and duplicate? That's the real issue. How do I save the condition set to be duplicated multiple times? So every time the answer is C, I use that same condition set. Every time the answer is B, I use that same condition set to make it disappear. That's where my challenge comes in right now. So let me go back here and I've got this set up here as completely blank. And I think that's what I got here, which is fine. So I don't need to make any changes there, but if we go here, let me go back to my functions real quick. So I got some questions. So I got the Free Show Friday Bible quiz and I got the game show questions. So if I go to Free Show Friday, right click and edit, these are called, number one is called question, and then the rest of them are called first move, second move, third move, so forth and so on. That is interesting. I just can't put them in that order. So what I would have to do is figure out what's the actual answer set. And I can't necessarily tie like an action to this set number 2, or action to this set number 3. Let me double check that just to make sure before I say anything. So let's go to actions. I'm going to say new action, and let's say game show conditions with answers. All right. So these are commonly used ones. Audio functions, emit data action. Okay, let's see if there's anything else. Projects, no. Show, no. Slide, random, play a random slide. That could be interesting. Clear, drawing, no. Media, we got overlays and such. It's not an output issue, I don't think. Audio, it's not an audio issue. Timer functions, we got a variable. So change variable. Let's see here. If I hit this, intermediate answer. Okay. Answer options. Okay. They got the next mode, they got the previous mode, and they got a value mode. Ooh. Mode one. So answer options, I can change the value to be a number. And that's it. So if I can change the value to be a number, then potentially I can apply an action that needs to run a sequence. So if I did that one, the value still only gives you options for a number. Let me see here. Oh no, I can type in anything I want. Okay. Interesting. Let me see. Let me make sure of that. If I hit add, okay, it just brings me back here. And I can do another change variable. But this one though, let me see. No, it did not change that. So if that value is, if there's a, like, let's say we put something and say, if the value is 4, then do something based off of that value, right? That's the idea. So I like where that's going. I like the idea of it at least. Let me put something in here real quick. So let's do edit. And let's put in a dynamic value. And we're going to play with those variable conditions, okay? So answers options 1, answers option second. That's not correct. Those are all. Okay, let's go to this game show questions. Okay, there's that. This one would be game show question dynamic value as well. And this will be option A, game show questions A. This will be option B, game show questions B. This will be option C. And this will be option D. All right, now, so I got these. These are in the new beta where you can actually add a new text box or a piece of media or a timer really quick and easy because those are pretty popular. Now, I need to make a series of images because what I want to do now, I want to actually make it be like a box around. No, actually, no, they're going to just go away. That's the thing. They got to go away and remain. Ooh, okay, okay, okay. And so I need a timer. So let's add in this 10. It's a 10-minute. We want it to be like a game show 20-second. Okay, real short. And what we'll do is I'm just going to make it be down at the bottom as a bar. This is one of my favorite ways to do a timer now. So I'll move this across there and move this one across here. All right. And we got that there. If I go to timer, it says you can show the time. I'm going to make it be a line and we can change the color and we will make it be orange for now. Okay. And then we also can still put a timer on it. Same timer. We can add it again so it can show the numbers. You know what I mean? And so this one, we will make it be the same 20-second. And I'm just going to put it really short, really small, right on top. And it'll go right over here. All right. So you got 20 seconds. And this one started showing a time. I want that one to show a line. All right. And the 20 seconds is on top of it right there. Okay. And that's fine. I'll make it be a little bit taller like that. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. So we got that. Now what we got to do is we got to make these randomly change to where it just becomes invisible. And so if I do conditions, right, it's got an option for variable, dynamic value. And so I guess I can pick dynamic value. No. Let's go here, variable. Okay. All right. So I can't really tell. Okay, here we go. So got it. And so now everything is just going to roll and be the last one standing. And so this one, let's see here. I don't even know the answer or the question to this. So let me close this out real quick. Let's see. Which book of the Bible is all about Moses? The Bible is about Moses. Okay, and so it would be this one, B. And so I would make these conditions, go back to that. Sheesh. That's the hard part. Um, Conditions. All the following. So show item if all the conditions are met. Sheesh. That's where I get lost. But it's really not even about this. It's about the timer is above. And so we would say if the timer is above we'll say 10 seconds. All right. And then this one will be if the timer is above 7 seconds. And then this one is the last one. So we'll say conditions. And it says first active. We'll say is above 3 seconds. And what I'll do, I'm gonna change that. Let's say our 20-second timer. Okay. So that's fine. Let me check this one. we'll pick that timer instead of it being first active. We'll go for a game show 20. And the same way for this one. Conditions. Game show 20. All right. We're thinking this through, so bear with me. Bear with me. All right, so now I got that. If we do that there, this is what it looks like. Oh, and it's a 20-second. I should have made them be more like. All right, so that makes sense. The challenge is, this is the challenge, y'all. How do I do that for each one? You know, like for each slide. And so, because I can't tie that, option answer B that's the correct answer for that one. But when I go to the next variable option, so if we go here, variables, and we go to game show questions, right? That was option number, or question number 3. If I go here, I can have a different set be the correct answer. And this is where it becomes, there's not a real benefit in using the text set variable for your game shows, which I really do like quite a bit. It's just a question of, is it really doable? You know? And so let's do here. I'm going to duplicate this slide. So I'm going to say duplicate and duplicate. All right. So we got 3 answers. And the last one is the one about Moses. So that one's fine. If I go from one slide to the next, the issue right now is that the clock has stopped. Okay. So I've got to reset the clock. And I want the clock to reset when I go to the next option. So let's do an action that, let me see, I might have made one. Let me see, game show conditions with answers. That's not it. Free show intro. Let me see, game show actions. No, I need to go up here. I didn't make one for that. Let me make sure. Outro. Okay, game show condition, game show reset. All right, so let's look at the game show reset. This one, it changes the variable. It waits a second. It stops active timers, which resets them, and then it waits, and then it starts them. And so what I think we would need to do is, that's not a bad sequence. Wait, stop, wait, and then start. Yeah, that should work. So the game show reset will go here and here. All right. And so now, if I'm on this, I will go there, and it populates and fills it in. Who ran faster than a chariot? And they get to think about it. Was it Caleb, Jacob, Elijah, John, whatever, right? Now, here's the thing. I got to change that one now to be the correct answer. And so I would go in manually. So now I got to go to edit this one. So who ran faster than the chariot? The answer would be Elijah. And so this one doesn't have anything on it. So whatever this one has, I will replace it. But then again, you got to randomize it, right? Because you don't want to remove the same answer each time in the same order. So let's see what this one's at. Conditions. This one was at 7 seconds. So we'll make this one be 7 seconds. Timer, 20 seconds is above. We said 7. All right. And then this one was which one? Let's see here. This one was at 3 seconds. So we'll remove that and we'll make this one be 3 seconds. So now they'll stay, all are there. All right. Now for this one though, let's see what the answer or the question is for that one. So we got that. Now if I go over, which book of the Bible is about Moses? And that one is set. It should be just fine because that one's already prepared, right? And I think my timing could be better. I think it should go all the way down to the last minute, last second, instead of it being 3 seconds, probably more. But let me go and let's just play with this real quick just so I can get an idea because we're getting somewhere. So this is my variables. I'm going to go back to the game show. Let's go back to the previous, all the way to the beginning. All right. And so the first question is, who was a judge? And this Samson. Okay, so we need to adjust this. I need to edit that. And, oh, it's not going to work, y'all, because this template is here, those variables. Oh, no, it stays. Okay, okay. So I put the variables on the wrong one, I think. So I edited this one, option number 1. And that's correct. That's Samson. That's fine. This one, though, is, if I go back and forth, it doesn't show. Oh, here we go. I'm sorry, that's wrong one. Okay. So that's, okay, so the answer is the same. It's Elijah. And the answer is Samson. So I can mix that up. And what I'll do is, okay, so who's the judge? That's the answer is C on that one. We'll make the answer on this one be B. We'll make the answer be B. So I need to switch those up. So let's go to game show questions and let's edit. And Samson was here and we'll make it be A. Copy that. And then we'll make this be Elijah. I'll put Caleb there. Okay. And then this one, which book of the Bible is about, that's B. Okay. So that's somewhat random. All right. Now let's go back. All right. So question number 1 is here. The answer is there. And there's no variable there. No condition. I'm sorry. I'm looking for the light bulbs. There's no light bulb there. That's fine. This one is question number 2. And let's see here. Who ran faster than a chariot? The answer is A. So whatever A is on needs to be different, right? And so let's see what this one is. Let's see what this, and I'll switch them out that way. Dynamic values. Let's do conditions. This one's 3 seconds. All right, so we'll take this one off and we'll make this one be 3 seconds. Timer, 20 seconds. Not below, is above. 3 seconds. All right, and then we need to move this one off. Let's see what it's at. That one's at 10 seconds, okay. So we'll remove this and make this one be 10 seconds. Conditions, when the timer is this one, and it is above 10 seconds. All right. That's that. All right, so now we can go back here. We'll go back to the answers that are correct. Let's refresh. Oh, so here's the thing. I gotta reset that timer. So I gotta go back to my timers. 20 seconds is here. It's there. Okay. So now we're on question 1. The question is, who was a judge? What we're going to do is we're going to actually show the show. Boom. All right. And so this is what you would see, or they would see. Let me update my properties in OBS. That's all that is. All right. So now you can see exactly what they would see. Okay. Now I'm going to click the first slide. Boom. Who was a judge? Was it Peter? Was it James, Samson, or Cain? And the clock is ticking. They're thinking. They're thinking. Okay. Wasn't Peter. Okay. It wasn't him. The answer is Samson. All right. That's done. And then we got arrow to the right. And that is a challenge right there. Right there is a problem. So we needed to reset the clock before it gets to the next slide, because it's going to give the answer right away. It's going to give the answer right away. Okay. So let's go back here. And let's see here. Slide actions. If I go to slide actions, timers. So it says stop active timers. I can't wait. Okay. We're going to do an action here. I got to make an action that's going to start, or that's going to stop the active timer after 20 seconds. Okay. And so let's go to our actions. We're going to go to Gameshow. Do I got a game? I don't have a Gameshow actions, do I? We'll make a group. All right. Or a tag, I should say. And I think I got some Gameshow stuff right now. Let's see. So game conditions. All right. So let's do this one. We're using it for sure. We're going to manage tags. We're going to call it new tag. We're going to call it Gameshow. Okay. Hit enter. They go in alphabetical order, which is great. And the game shows will make them be purple. Okay. So now I can add this tag, set the tag to game shows for that one. I'm going to do a new one. And this action is going to be 20-second wait and reset countdown. All right. So first thing we need to do is wait. And we need to make that be 20. Then I need to add another one that stops. And I actually want it to be a specific timer, but I don't know that I have that option. Let's try it. Let's see if I go here and I turn that off. Timers, start timer. Yeah, it's no option. So stop active timers. Let's see if that does it. Okay. And I don't even remember what I called that. I called it wait something, didn't I? Okay, 20-second wait. So let's right click on that and let's add a tag to it to go to the game shows. All right, so now, oh, it didn't go. Okay. Now I got two of them in there. Oh, it's just highlighted. I couldn't tell it was highlighted. It was probably there the whole time. All right. And you all couldn't see any of that. So what I'm doing is I got to go into this. And what I did is I decided to wait 20 seconds for this so I can reset it so it won't sneak and show the correct answer. All right. And so what I'm going to do is go into the timers. I'll restart this one. And we're going to go into our variable for game shows. We're going to go all the way back to question number 1. All right, I'm on question number 1. Who was a judge? When I started, here's what you're going to see. Boom. Start the clock. It's thinking. It's thinking. You're reading the questions, and then it wasn't Peter. Got it. Wasn't James. Got it. And it wasn't Cain. So it was Samson. All right. And it automatically resets. Then I go to the next one. Who ran faster than a chariot? It's Elijah, Jacob, Caleb, or John. Let's see here. All right. And it's Elijah. All right. So it resets. It goes here. Which book of the Bible is about Moses? And that one resets after it's done. And so I would need to add in those 2 options, and I need to make unique variables for each question in sync. So I've got to make sure that each one is set up properly. And that one I could probably wait like 22 seconds or something like that. But I think the challenge, let me see, let me go back into the let's go back into our actions for game show. And I'll make it wait. Let's edit it and call it a 22-second wait. And we'll change, go back and we're going to change the wait to be 22. Okay. And it'll stop active timers, which means it's going to reset them. All right. And now this one, the game show reset, it'll change the variable. It won't have to wait and stop the active timers now. So the wait, stop active timers, wait, and then start the timer. Let's see here. We can get rid of this. We can get rid of this. And how long is that wait? Okay, so this way we can make it be 2 seconds maybe. All right, now I don't think that's going to carry over because I got to drag it back on there. Let me see. Will it take that? Let's see if I put that on there. Okay, it changes it. Oh, it changed them all. Cool, cool. So this I will put there to kind of replace it. All right. And so now we're going to go back in our variables. Game show. Let's go to question number 1. By this time, you guys are going to know the answer to these questions like nobody's business. You heard? All right. So now I can go back to number 1 here. And let's see what it looks like. Oh, it's already going. It's already going. Let's see here. Who was a judge? Peter, James, Samson, or Cain? It's thinking. And the answer is Samson. Now it's going to wait 1, 2, and it automatically updates. And now I go to the next one. Who ran faster than a chariot? Elijah, Jacob, Caleb, or John? You're thinking, and it wasn't him. Wasn't him. And it's him. And then it just resets, pops back up, and then we go here. Which book of the Bible is about Moses? And so the hard part about this is you got to manually put in individual conditions for each individual slide, and you got to make sure it syncs up with the correct answer from that variable. I like it, but that is the challenge. That's the biggest challenge. So we did make a actual quiz that does count down. Um, we made a quiz that does make the answers eliminate, and we got it set to where it will do it automatically. You don't have to manually put in an answer like I had before. Let's see here. What I did before was, let me go back to these templates so you can see. So I had some conditions on the correct answer that you would have to select before it was correct. Like, so you had to determine which one was correct, if that makes sense. So you had to say, okay, you read the question yourself and you got to have a cheat sheet and you would have to answer it real time, like in the segment. So in the functions, I made this answer variable. So you would put this in, and then it was a variable on those little green underline things that if it was B, it would underline B. And if you type in C here, it would underline C as the correct answer. And so you got a lot more control with that one, but it's a different flow because the answers aren't disappearing like we did in this one. This one, the answers disappear. In that one, you just show the correct answer, right? This is more traditional where it just shows the correct answer. And so I like both of them. They just have a different approach, especially with the beta 3 update. You can do either one. So it's completely up to you. So if you like the original version I was talking about is on another video about game shows, you'll see the link to it at the end of this video and also probably right when I'm talking about it as well. But this is another way to approach game shows, which is pretty cool. Very cool. All right, it's me again. I'm sitting here thinking about that game show idea, and I wonder if it's possible to do it with an overlay to where I can set up a series of triggers that are different overlays. So overlay A, B, C, or D, and then set an action for each one after a certain amount of time. So let's go to overlays. And this is, okay, I got a game show set up here. These are some other generic things here. That's a 10-second timer. So I'm going to do new overlay. And I'm going to call this, um, hmm, let's call this answer A. All right, so for this to work, I've got to put in the idea of each. What I'm thinking I would do is I would cover it up with a term or a statement that says no or nope or something like that, right? Um, and I've got this plain black background now, so I can just cover it up with a black box too if I wanted to, and it would give the same effect. But the idea is your background is going to be a little bit different each time. And so what if instead of that, maybe I just put like a symbol, like a wrong answer symbol, like an X. Let's put an X over it. So let me find an X. Okay, let's do, we're gonna call this game. So I've duplicated this little thing here. This kind of like a game show. This is my companion stuff, so I'm gonna delete that out. All right. So I just got this one left. So we'll delete that and let's do wrong answer. Let's see what they got in. So I like that. I like this. I like this one as well. So that one would look like it's bad because it's so tall. I don't like how tall it is. I like this. And we can export it like as a PNG. I like this one as well. So we'll see which one we like the most. So I'm going to do this one. And then I'll duplicate. And we'll do this one. Let me center this one up as well. Let's make it be as big as we can get it. Okay. Magic recommendations. They got a thumbs down. That's funny. I like that one too a little bit. I like this one too. So let's do the box. Okay, and these are just square 200 pixel by 200 pixels. All right, that's fine. I'm just thinking about it covering up enough of the answer, but you still can see the answer, which is completely fine with me too. That's an X with a circle in it. We kind of got that already here, but this is kind of the opposite of it, which I like that as well. Kind of like this one, but circular. So let's do a new page. Let's add that one. And these are all kind of just iterations of that. Okay, that's good enough. And then we will just export each of these. Download PNG, transparent backgrounds, important. We'll do all of those and we will download them. Okay, so now going back into FreeShow, I gotta go to my media and I'm going to point a folder to that. Let's see here. I'm making a location for it first. So I'm going into my documents. I'm just going to throw it in here. All right, so it's in my FreeShow and it's called Game X. So let's see if I go documents. It's not there. Downloads, no. So I have to make a new folder. So let's do here. We'll select that one. And that's that. All right. So all those images are there. So now what do we do with these images? If I drag this up here, I don't think it'll let you do that. Yeah, that's not how they work. So I would have to, I didn't have to put them in here at all. I would just go to items and then go to media, choose one of those. Let's pick this one for now. All right. And we got to set it to where they'll show up at different times based on the timer. And so these are going to need a condition instead of the correct answers. Okay, so this is an overlay. It's called answer A. Okay, so it won't be that. It'll be probably one of those. Okay, so we'll go to show. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate one of these and take off the conditions. So let's duplicate. Let's right click and Let's edit it. We're going to take off all the conditions because basically we're going to keep the boxes there. We're just going to cover them up with an X. Okay, that's fine. And then I'm going to need some different, I won't need any of these actually. So we won't need this and we won't need that. So I can get rid of those because all we're going to do is switch out from each one to the next. So I can duplicate this again, duplicate again. All right. So we got those. We're going to start with this one. And this is Gameshow Beta 3. Let's duplicate this one. And let's rename it. Three, and I'm going to call it overlays. And let's put that in here. All right. And so I don't need this. We can remove, we can delete this slide from the show, delete this slide from the show, and delete this slide from the show. Okay. So now we need to label these somehow. We got the verse there, but we need to be able to, I guess we don't need to label it. We're going to have to drag those actions. We have to make an action for the overlay to activate. Okay. And so let's go to our functions real quick. Let's get an idea of the correct answers. All right, so number one, the answer is C. All right. And so we need to make a overlay that's the answer C. So I'm gonna go to my overlays and we're going to duplicate this and we'll call this one answer C. And if I hit that, see how it's too tall? So we need to edit it, right click and edit. I'm gonna bring it down a bit and then let's refresh. Okay. That's not bad, but I don't even want to cover up the name if I don't have to. So let's see what it looks like if I do it that way. Refresh again. I like that look. Let's bring it down just a bit. And we can bring it over just a little bit more and down. So something like that. So that's the wrong answer. Got it. All right, so these are we need to have another one for below and another one. So I'm gonna duplicate it 3 times. So the answer is C. So this one, A would be out. Let's pull it over a little bit more, just getting a feel for where it is. And a little bit more. I'm looking at the distance here and the distance there. It's not bad. I'll move it over just a bit more. That's pretty close. I don't really have a marker to show me anything special, but that's cool. Now this one will just move it straight down. So I'm going to line it up, but pull it down. And they might overlap. Let's see. Yep, so they'll overlap. They're pretty big. Okay, close to overlapping. So that's that. Now we got to put them on a timer, right? So this one would need to be, let's do this one first. Let's do a condition. When the timer is above. And for this, we'll do, We'll do it the same for now just because I can't think of a better way. We'll start at 10 seconds. All right. And then this one will go to 7 seconds. Oh, all the following conditions are met. Some of the conditions, none of the conditions are met. Interesting. I never tried that. Okay. Timer. We're going to pick the 20-second game show timer. Is above 7. And then this one. And we'll do conditions. Timer is above. We'll make it be like 2. All right. So now, got that. All right. So that's answer C. If I drag this onto it, all right, it shows up like that. So now I need to reset that timer. So let's go to the timer. And oh, I need to do it the other way. No, they're not doing anything. They should be doing something. Okay, let's fix the overlays. Edit, edit, edit. All right, so this one, we wanted to show if, yeah, it's above, no. If it's, below. Okay. Let's do that for each of these below. Because they're not supposed to be there. As opposed to the other one, which they were already there. All right. Let's refresh. It still is not doing anything. So show if that timer, oh, well, it needs to do something when I update the timer. All right, so timers, and let's reset that. All right, boom. So now when I click this, it shows up. That makes sense. Who was a judge? All right, and boom, not James, not Kane, and not Peter. I really like that style too. I really like that style too. Let me know your thoughts. So now that would be that. So that's option, or the answer is A. So now what I would do is look at, let's see. So if I go and hover over this, it doesn't show you the name of the overlay. That would be cool if you could see the name of the overlay, but it shows up here, answer C. So we can see it there. So I need to make more overlays. So let's just duplicate this one. And we'll make it be called answer B. And let's move these around and edit. Let's do, so let's edit this one. Answer B. All right, so this is the correct answer here. What I want to do is I'm going to move this down. And I think I want to move this one over here. be in line with that. And then I'll move this one down to be in line with this one. And let's see what that looks like. So answer C is showing up. Let's show answer B. It doesn't look too bad. Okay. So that's fine. Now we need to duplicate. Let's get rid of this one. Delete. And let's do answer A. And rename this one. Let's get rid of that. All right. Let's edit answer A. All right. So answer A means that one is there. So let's move this one up to be in line with that. And let's move this one over here to be in line with this. And let's see what it looks like. Okay. And then we need one for answer D. Duplicate. Rename. Okay. Now we'll be looking at editing this one. And what I would say is, let's move that down to there and move this over to here. And in alignment with that. That doesn't look too bad. Okay, now let's go back to the show. Let's look at our functions. And that's actions. Let's look at our variable, our game show variable. So we got the first answer. Now we need to look at the next one. So 2, who ran faster than the chariot? It says Elijah Jacob. So the answer is A. So we would go to our overlays and we would drag A on. Okay. And we probably do need to do that reset action on these. Let's look at the next one though. Let's see here. Option 3, which book of the Bible is about Moses? And it's B. So let's go to our overlays. Let's drag B on. All right. So those are all there. Now let's look back at our actions to see if we can tie an action to turn that timer off. So game show actions, game show reset. So that we would just put on here. We'll put on each of them because once it starts, it needs to start up. We'll put on each of those. So now the game show clock just needs to reset before we go to the next one. So now let's go to our first here and let's go to our timer. Restart that there. And let's see what it looks like. You guys are going to see it there. And here we go. I don't think that was our first answer. Let me see what happened. Variables. Yeah, see, that's answer 2. So it should be that. All right, so let me think about this. What I did was, if I click on that, oh, I got to fix those options. Let me fix those options real quick. Oh, okay, they all have their own overlay. That's perfect. Okay, now it should be good. Which book of the Bible is about Moses? It's thinking. All right, let's reset that real quick. Let's clear all. Let me go back to my setup here to make sure I was on the first question, which I don't think I was. There we go. Okay. So now that should be the question. There we go. I think. Yeah. So who was the judge? Okay. So here's the deal. I've got to add an action though that's going to advance the variable. And let me go to the game show actions real quick. So let's edit this one. Let me see. Change the variable weight and then start timer. Change the variable weight and start the timer. Okay. That's fine. So we will take that off and that off and put this on here. Okay, the game show reset. Okay, now we got that. Now we're going to go into the next one. Who ran faster than a chariot? It wasn't Jacob. It wasn't John. Oh, okay. So now we have to clear the overlays. All right, so let's do duplicate. And this is going to be edit. And this is going to be set game show reset with overlays. All right. And what we got to do is we've got to clear overlays. All right, we're going to move that up. And we'll put it there. All right, now let's take this one off, take that one off. And you guys can't see this, but let's put game show with overlays. Let's put that on there. Let's put that on there. And I'm going to clear all real quick just to clear that out. We're going to go to this one, clear all. And let's reset the clock. Timers, reset. And that should show up like that. Did I go to the very first one? All right, let's see here. Who was a judge? It's showing up, showing up. It did something funky. So when I click it, okay, that's what it's supposed to do. And then it gets to 10 seconds, it starts over. What is that about? That's weird. Let's go to the timers and see what's going on. So the 20-second timer's there. It's not started. I'll refresh that. Variables. We're on option question number 1. The timer's going down. It's counting down. And for some reason, it's like, okay, I needed to refresh. That was weird. Okay. Now it resets. That's fine. Then we go here. And who ran faster than a chariot? It should have advanced to, okay. Oh, okay. So I need to put that all together. This game show in the wait 22 seconds. Because this is on there. So let's go and edit that function, the action. So this is the reset with overlays. So if I go here and I go to edit, what we need to do is we need to clear overlays, change the variable, and then wait, start the timer, and then start an overlay. And we needed to start the, ooh. So we can't drag those on to that. Yikes. Okay. So this is, let's call this game show A. Yeah. Right. So it's going to clear and it's going to start that. But let me see. We also have the 22-second run action. To reset it. So I need to go back and just add that in there. So let's do edit and let's add in that action. Oh, it won't let me do it. Oh, wait, let me turn it on. Yeah, here we go. Run action. We're going to do the 22-second. Boom. Okay. So now that's cleared out. Let's clear these out. And this is the wait 22 seconds here. Let me see. This is, it's going to change the variable. We don't want that. Okay. So I need to wait the 22 seconds here, but then we'll do it here. Okay. So we don't need these. I gotta think about this. I got it. No. I'm trying to think about a way that we can run an action that won't take away option number one. Because that's what we're trying to do, is we're trying not to, I guess it can just be blank. Let's do that. So let's go to our game show variables. And let's edit this one here, game show. Edit. And we're gonna make it be where'd it go? If I say new variable, ABCD. Oh, it's asking for it there. I don't want that. Add a set. Here we go. Okay, so this set will be, ooh, I can't move these around. Oh, that's cool though. Okay, that's cool because it's gonna be simplified. Perfect. So Peter, James, I'm just duplicating what's up here. Samson, Kane, and was a judge. I think I like this way better because it's so much cleaner. So I can delete this, delete that, delete that, delete that. And we can just say, are you ready to get started? Okay. So that's that. So now we got our first question. Now I need to duplicate this. Boom. And I'm going to go here, take that off, and take that off. We're going to clear all. Don't need that on. And now I'm going to put in, we don't need that either. I'm going to go back to my actions. Gameshow A. We're going to duplicate this, and we're going to make one called Gameshow B. Edit. And this action here is going to be different. Nope, not that one. The overlay is going to be different. It's going to be answer B. Boom. And this is going to be duplicated and duplicated. All right, so this one is going to be called Gameshow C. And we're going to change the overlay to be C. And save that. And this one's going to be D. Change this to be a D. And the overlay we're going to start is answer D. Got it. All right, so now let's go to so that one won't even need all that. That's cool. So the first slide, we can edit it. And so this won't even need a timer at all. And we don't even need these. Boom and boom. All right. We'll go back to the show. Go to our first option. Are you ready to get started? But I need to drag those answers on. So let's look and see. So who ran faster than a chariot? That is A. We go to our game shows. All right. And then if we go back to, oh, wait. Yeah, that's one, that's two. Yeah. Okay. 1, 2, 3 is, which book of the Bible is by Moses? It's answer B. So we're going to go up here, make that one be B. And we'll go back to our game show. Who was a judge? It was C. Is this A, B, C? Oh my goodness. It's all good. It's all good for now. You won't do that in real life. Don't do that. All right, we got it like that. Okay. So now when we go from here, let me go back to the beginning. The game shows. This is how you know, are you ready to get started? That's the first slide. And then we go here. Who ran faster than a chariot? Was it Elijah, Jacob, Caleb, or John? And let's see what we got. Survey says it wasn't Jacob. It wasn't John. It wasn't Caleb. And I like that you can see the answers the whole time. That's important to me. Which book of the Bible is about Moses? Let's see. Job, Ruth, maybe. People might say something like that. Galatians. Okay, Ruth definitely not. Okay. Galatians definitely not. And Job definitely not. Okay. Got it. That clears out. We go to the next one. Who was a judge? And I like the fact that it stops and resets at the end, and you can have a conversation if you wanted to, right? So you can talk about the correct answer. Who was a judge? It definitely wasn't James. Let's see. It wasn't Cain, and it wasn't Peter. Boom. Okay. That one I like. I like that a lot. And you still have the room to put in any background that you want. That's what I like about that too. And so now I can go in and I can go to my media. I'm going to go to my yellow box video backdrops. And so we could put in something like that if we wanted to. Kind of goes with that blue feel. We could do something like that if we wanted to. Still got a little bit of a blue feel to it. Something generic. That one I don't like so much. Let's see this one. That one looks fun too. I could rock with that. I got some new ones here. Let's see if I got something that's good. Let's see what bubbles looks like. Kind of boring. I like the bubbles for words though, not for game shows. So that one is fine. I would say go to Canva and get you something really funky. If I go back, like even this one, the globe is really nice. That one I like a lot. This one will probably be nice too. Something like that. That's kind of busy, but I like that too. Let's see, something real smooth and soft. You want something in this case that's really flashy, right? This one's nice. It's subtle, but it's also very flashy. I think I was selling on that one. I really like that because it feels like it's moving. um, the globe is nice. This one is nice too. I like this one a lot too. It kind of reminds me of a newsroom though, and that's not the theme of this, so I really wouldn't stick with it. This one, let me see. Not much moving around on that one. I don't like that one at all. For me, it's between this and this. And I think I like that one the most. It kind of fades away in the background, the distant background. Really cool stuff. So that would be my thoughts. Hopefully you learned something. I know this seems like a lot. I know it seemed like a lot. I'll see if I can do something shorter to shrink this down, but we'll see. But I wanted to give you guys my thoughts. This is what I call the free show lab. This is me working things out, figuring out solutions to problems, and hopefully this makes sense.